Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Welcome to Trust Fund Tuesdays, everybody. This week, I want to inform you about protecting the people in your family who may not be able to take care of themselves or have disabilities, or once some assets are going to be passed to them, they're no longer going to qualify for receiving government benefits like Medicaid. There is a way around that, though. If you have a family member right now that you want to leave some assets to in your trust, you can do that even if they're disabled and able to care for themselves without worrying about them losing their Medicaid coverage. The way you do that is with the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Now, the assets that you place inside this trust, this is an irrevocable trust, meaning it cannot be changed or canceled. And the assets that you put in this trust that you're passing along to this particular beneficiary, which will be the person in your family who currently receives Medicaid, or you may be concerned they're going to need Medicaid in the future, you give them the assets in this Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. What this does is keeps the assets, the value of the assets within the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, so that is not included into the person's net worth, the beneficiary's net worth. So a good example of this, it would be somebody who's in your family who you know is ill or is becoming ill, and you know that with their general income and things that they have underneath their own ownership, they qualify for Medicaid because they don't make over the limit. But once they inherit, anything that you're leaving to them in the trust is going to put them over the requirement limit. I mean, the income limit, the asset ownership limit, they're going to have too much ownership in assets, and that will disqualify them from the Medicaid program, and they're not going to be able to receive Medicaid. You want to pass on the assets to them in this Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Now, with the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, there is a look-back period of 60 months in most states and 30 months in California, and New York doesn't have any look-back period yet, but they're going to create one in March of, I believe, next year. And what the look-back period says is that you cannot have look to give your significant person this Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. You can't look to implement this if it hasn't been 60 months before they applied to receive Medicaid, or 60 months hasn't passed since this trust was established. That's the look back period. So if this trust was established within the last 12 months and you try to apply to get this person Medicaid, or just say the assets are passed on to them, someone passes away, they receive assets, and now you're trying to apply to help them get Medicaid because their day-to-day living, they don't make enough income to cover medical expenses, Medicaid will deny you because they're going to say in the last 12 months you've established this Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, and that's where majority of their assets were placed, and that's the only reason why they can qualify for Medicaid. I know it's kind of messed up, it's crazy, but I can understand why they're trying to close up certain loopholes. So I say get this done as soon as possible for any elder in your family or anybody you know that is going to maybe be inheriting some assets that are currently or maybe need to be on Medicaid. I could think of a few family members myself that this trust would be good for, but establish it the earlier the better so you don't have to worry about that look back period. All right?